Hey guys, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, wow.
Oh, tired.
Cold open.
Tired.
Tired? Yeah. Yeah. So you're moving soon, right?
I'm moving, so I'm getting the house ready, doing lots of home renovations, packing, moving boxes, unpacking, moving more boxes. Yeah.
And you're working outside again now.
I'm also doing home renovations on my home and other people's homes.
Yeah.
Actually, outside was pleasant today. The customer realized their AC isn't working this year, so the inside was hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to edit that part out at the beginning, right?
Some of it we'll edit some. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So we're here together finally for a roundtable discussion to end up season 2. I have no idea where this discussion will go completely, but we'll talk about a couple things tonight. We'll talk about cons. We're going to talk about some painting. I have my crappy painting, my not so good painting, and the guys have their nicest painting here in comparison. And yeah, so we'll have some fun for around an hour, and then we'll be back next season, probably around the fall for season 3. I'm just seeing what time.
I'm just excited that it's the fall. I didn't know when it was going to be. I like filming these, but also I forgot yesterday that we were filming it today.
Oh, okay. We'll probably do some game stuff this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I like doing it. I just forget in the summer because I'm really busy.
Yeah, no, we can just totally play a game and film that instead of doing it. Whatever.
Small talk, banter.
Yeah.
Anything to play too?
Well, I'm planning on making the whole
Might be a little busy.
confessional closet. I mentioned this before, like Will Wheaton tabletop type. I don't know if I can say that on here because he sued and they sued and all that. But we'll have like a confessional during the board game. We'll have.
Oh, where you can like smack talk people during the board? Like you could be like, yeah, they just moved there, but that was like a really bad move. Like in the reality TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I like.
But like back on tabletop because that's part of what made tabletop such a great show. I think. I don't know.
Should I have watched that show?
Have you never watched tabletop?
I haven't, no.
No, neither one. Okay.
I haven't even finished TNG. I'm way behind on the stuff.
So,
this happens in the series? This happens after the Borg get shut down by Picard, and then they do the tabletop gaming because there's not as much going on.
I feel like one of the first games we should play, and you shouldn't watch the episode, is Lords of Waterdeep because.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah. I have some opinions on that.
So we can talk about those opinions too. But that's one of the first games that they did in the series. He's just playing with random people. He plays with who's the lead actress on the new MSTK 3000. She's on there. And
can I phone a friend?
Yeah, sure. I'll look it up on it. But she's on there. Different actors and actresses that he's friends with that he just like plays board games. And then he has like a random episode too where his son just comes and plays with them.
Wow.
So, which is cool.
Man, if he ever watches this, he's going to be like, man, why do you guys keep going to make Star Trek references? It's because I like Star Trek, Will Wheaton. No,
when they play Formula Day, one of his friends keeps making Star Trek references when they're like racing around the track.
See, I like that game. unlike Lords of Waterdeep.
You don't like Lords of Waterdeep?
No.
Okay, well let's start there. Why don't you like Lords of Waterdeep, AJ?
I do not find it very engaging. It's like I think like the first few times I played it, I was like, hey, cool.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was just like, it didn't have like a lot of interesting bits in it. I thought it kind of felt sort of flat. It's like a good game that I'm not especially interested in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still have my copy.
What is that? What is that gem game that we played like a lot of?
Yeah,
Splendor.
You guys played like hundreds of those at the shop.
Which is like it's a really good game that's not very interesting.
Well, like Lords of Waterdeep, the problem with it is like I played it a lot and I didn't even realize that the cubes represented workers. Like it makes sense that you need 3 orange cubes to like beat back a whole bunch of bad guys because they're like fighters.
Yeah.
But like I was just like I didn't even know. I was just like, yeah, man, I need some orange cubes.
Yeah.
Did not. I don't read the cards either. And then Splendor, the game where you're like, wait, this does have a theme.
The most pissed on theme ever. Lords of Waterdeep, not your guys' jam. Did I keep going out of frame? Is that what keeps happening?
Yeah, every time you scooch over, you can kind of, I don't know. I can't. Maybe I just want you to be closer to me. You know, our knees are touching right now.
It's a fun game. I just never want to play it.
Like, I have a copy, and I was like, oh, how did I not sell this? But I also enjoy it, and it's a really good.
You still have a copy?
Yeah.
I'll just buy your copy.
There you go.
Okay.
It's in good condition. Yeah, but it's like the Settlers. It's like a good entry-level game. For
it is one of my most recommended worker placement games of all time.
It is definitively worker placement. It's not Temp's a worker placement game.
That's also worker placement, not my jam.
That's what I was etching there. Yeah,
I mean, but
AJ's going to talk about the time that he totally misinterpreted the Keyflower rules and created a very imbalanced and
ultimately very unsuccessful.
It was pretty much in the last round. It was like, you guys can't buy anything because AJ's going to buy everything because he's just went in on getting workers. And then through a gross misunderstanding on his part, workers don't equate to victory points. And he got third place.
Oftentimes, I like to push the boundaries of what a game engine is capable of and see where it leads.
Yeah, I love that. What's that called in Magic? The Timmy, Spike, and Donaldson?
We've tried to talk about this before, and I only played Magic casually. So
the Spike is the
Spike is the aggro player.
The wants to win.
Okay.
I guess I don't know what the.
But there's the exploratory player, and then there's the player that's
I think that's the Johnny.
The Johnny, because I'm definitely I'm exploring, but I also want to win, but I also want to have a good time. But I do like exploring, not to the extent that you did in Keyflower.
There's a lot, yeah.
So. On that note, one of the news things this week is, not in the last month, Wizards is bringing back full on play in the US, so that's happening. Do you guys have any opinions on that? How do you think it's going to go?
Have you seen the latest vaccine numbers against the Indian variant? Because if we're looking at fully vaccinated rates in the US and how effective the vaccine is against that, I think it's probably going to end poorly at some point down the road. Everyone who's fully vaxxed with Pfizer or Moderna, which is most people, I don't think we have numbers for Johnson & Johnson yet.
Well, J&J.
I mean, we should be pretty good for a while.
I mean, you just have to hope that, if states won't do the right thing, that the federal government will step in and, I don't know, someone will make the calls to keep people safe.
So on that note, let's go straight into conventions.
Well, one thing I will say, I was listening to another podcast today, because I actually listen to podcasts today, which I usually never do. And there's a store for the 3 Die Block podcast that they have. This Morning Owners is on it. They said that, I don't know exactly what they said, but wear a mask even if you're vaxxed. I don't, maybe they didn't say that actually, so don't listen to that, guys. They said something about mask and vax, and it's just at this point, just I don't know, man, I'm fine wearing a mask in public. And if I'm at a game store with some guys I don't really know, then I would just really appreciate if it's Friday Night Magic, if they all wear masks anyway, and you don't have to brush your teeth as often.
Can we turn that into the game of betting how likely it is that Friday Night Magic players are going to wear their masks?
See, the thing is there's a lot of respectful and responsible Magic players.
Magic community is actually kind of weird like that, because a lot of it is very progressive.
Yeah. And Watsy's been embracing that as well.
Yeah.
You know what? The one Blood Bowl convention happened last year in September in Chicago, and I was not going to go to it, but they gave out masks as a part of the participation package, and I think that's great. I like having things that are associated to awful points, little memories. I got mailed, living in a swing state, I got mailed a lot of Barack Obama stuff, and I kept them because they were just insane. And we're really going way off of here. But I keep these things because it's just like I want this little memento. But if they like print a mask for Friday Night Magic, like that's something I might put in a scrapbook.
That'd probably be worth a lot of money.
Just like
magic is insane.
Yeah, but I'd also put you could save it for the next pandemic.
Yeah.
Be like, man, is that from the 2021 or is that from 2025?
So we could go two directions here. First, I just want to say Benedict Cumberbatch. I really enjoyed his narration of the Dirge stuff. That R.A. Salvatore. Have you guys listened to it?
No,
it's fun.
No,
I like Drow lore and stuff in general.
No.
Anyways, you guys don't know? Oh, okay.
Drow, like my least favorite D&D.
Really? Well, okay, fine. See, but like they have.
That's probably not true. I'd probably find someone else I like less.
Three distinct. They've kind of retconned them. Three distinct Drow areas. So there's the ones that worship the Spider Queen, but now there's
Wolf.
Yeah. But now there's some that live in this city that's they're more like wood elves in Lord of the Rings, and then there's
what was that guy's name that imprisoned the hobbits? That was Legolas's dad.
No. Those are different than the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking
about the other wood elves.
Yeah, like Lady Lorien and stuff. Yeah, Lothlorien.
Well, you were saying Drow, and then they're like wood elves. So I would assume you were talking about like the Mirkwood wood elves.
But then
those guys are kind of rude.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But then there's also what's Salvatore's character is
Drizzt?
Yeah.
So but now there's a whole city that's off in the Arctic that are these elves that have been hidden that even most elves have forgotten about because they've kept to themselves for so long.
Another core book, another race book that you can do.
So
I mean, I'm not
so
against
there's that.
expanding. I like the Eberron, but I just Drow. I think AJ, if our old DM ever listens to this, I hope he doesn't. But I know why I don't like the Drow. Do you?
Is that what's going on here? Okay.
That is probably a good part of it.
Just spent a lot of time. Me and AJ played in the same game, not always at the same time, or ever at the same time.
We were in at the same time occasionally. I think. Yeah.
But yeah, it was very Drow heavy, and the Drow were very not by the rules in hindsight, and it was just.
Was it more of an overwhelming DM situation where you felt like you couldn't develop your characters, or what?
No, we developed our characters.
Okay.
We have created many extremely memorable characters in that campaign.
I don't know
they would always die.
Yeah.
But.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say overwhelming DM situation.
Oh no, yeah. we developed our characters. Yeah.
No, it was wild. It was OP. There was insane backstories, but I think mostly towards the end of the campaign, for me at least, it was I'm going to design a character to curtail the things that the DM does. That bothers me.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. We don't have to get into that because I don't.
It was the longest running campaign I've ever played in, and I'm very thankful for that.
Cool.
And there was many memories, and the bad ones are the funnest to talk about, though.
All right, so back to cons. The big news this last week was Asmodee and Paizo, within 2 days of each other, announced that they aren't going to Gen Con. Within the same time, Yellow and then subsidiaries of Asmodee like Z-Man and so forth have also said that they're not going. So there's a lot.
I don't think Z-Man's ever been in Gen Con, or at least I don't know. Maybe their presence, I've never noticed it.
I mean,
Yellow's been there. I've seen. No one's going to get their. No one's going to have to stand in line for 2 hours to get their pin from Piazzo in the morning before they run out.
I mean,
plus.
They're both doing the online thing, but I think it just speaks to the fact that, like, for a lot of people, some role playing is only going to happen online in the future, anyways, because it's easier. I mean, you can get your own snacks and drinks and everything at home, and you
have to wear pants.
Yep, the map's there. You can set up 5 maps in a single evening without having to reset everything, and that's nice.
Oh, that's interesting because I've found playing role playing games online very much more difficult than doing in person.
No, we found a groove. I actually played my first in-person RPG in over a year last Friday. Mm-hmm. And it's the same game we've been playing online every Friday for the last year. Well, our campaign changed through COVID. But, and it was fine. I mean, they brought snacks, and I've been doing really good at not late-night snacking.
Yeah.
And then it's
And it kind of ruined
it
that.
started, and I don't have any self-control. A lot of M&Ms, a lot of cookies. But, they said I had to wear pants, and I was a little upset.
Our D&D group fell apart after... We made it like 3 months and then restarted for like a month and a half. And our group didn't work. Like,
do you have your cameras on Discord?
No.
You gotta have your
yeah.
So,
that's pretty much
you gotta have your because they dogged me at first when Discord added cameras. I turned it on. I left it on, and they were like, "That's weird, Brian." And I'm like, "Listen, there's a pandemic. I'm depressed. I just want to see your guys' faces." And then like a couple of weeks later, like the GM like turned his on and just like to try it out, and then like he was like, "Actually, this is kind of great." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I was making like a lot of jokes about like why, but it like lets me see when you're about to talk, and because there's a lot of like stepping on toes playing online."
Actually, we did use the cameras for the little reboot. We did turn them on. It still wasn't the same. It's also kind of like a big group. I think that's hard with.
You're like 7 or 8 people, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see.
Like
I can see
2
that.
groups.
Yeah.
Ours is like 4.5.
Yeah, it's a lot of when you're not all sitting around at the table, because like when you have that big group, there's a lot of downtime and like side chat and stuff while other people are doing stuff. So I think without that, it makes it pretty difficult to sort of do that online.
Yeah,
we've never like switched up channels or anything. Well, I don't have enough, but I'm not techy enough.
Fair enough. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Gen Con goes.
I might go this year just so I can get the Chessex die. I haven't been able to get that in like over a decade.
Just now that
because not many people will be going.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They still might sell out. We'll know next week. They start going online.
Maybe they'll just lower so they'll lower the threshold, and then they'll be like, "We sold out."
Well, I was already off going to Gen Con before the pandemic, and now I'm certainly off it. So
I mean, I don't enjoy long lines just to play.
What's 1,000 feet long and filled with gamers? A line.
Yep, at Gen Con. So, I mean, I'd rather go to a smaller con. So I'm going to Grand Con, and I'm going to go to Lexicon, I think, and maybe one other this year. Are you guys going to do anything?
I'll go to CincyCon like I do every year and set it up. Yeah. I am CincyCon's, probably their longest unpaid volunteer. Probably not. There's a lot of old blood there, but I'm tied with it because I've been doing it the whole time. And then I might go to Origins because I got, but that's also like super dependent on my whole vibe on COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
And if Origins gives out masks with like, or what's the name of the Origins mascot? Jemmy?
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
All right. Well,
I'll probably be a little busy.
So yeah, why are you going to be busy? What's going on?
Yeah, new baby on the way. So yeah, very excited. Yeah,
Hugo with a J.
No, not with a J. The regular way.
We were setting up some stuff, and there was an H there, and I know Hugo spelled with an H, but I had like this massive brain fart, and I was like, why'd they get an H? Isn't Hugo spelled with a J? And I just like looked for a second, and I'm like, ooh, this is one of those thoughts you don't tell anybody, but I just told everyone.
Yeah, new baby. So in a couple weeks.
I love babies. And COVID's like not as bad. Like we've had some babies born in the family, and it was very hard to not get to see them as much as you'd like or at all. But with some isolation, and bubbling. But
Kelly has put down the rule. Not fully vaxxed, you don't get to see them. So
that's fine. Yeah. I mean, that's like a rule people do already with like other stuff. You don't got your D-tap, like don't be holding my baby.
Yeah. So we're gonna go from news to talking about painting now, and I just gave AJ Doctor Strange and Wong, which I don't understand what's going on with the Wong. Is it supposed to be like an Asian Wong instead of the Tilda Swinton character? Wong? I don't know.
What?
No, Wong was his dude. Tilda Swinton's the Eternal Master or whatever.
Yeah, ancient one.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm just really confused by this model though, because it kind of looks like a woman. I don't know.
I don't make assumptions like that.
I don't know.
What? Just because he's got a pretty face? I've got a pretty face. Am I a woman?
You're right. No, but I was looking for who's the guy that was in like.
Oh, you want him to be a little chunkier.
Yes, chunkier. That's exactly what I said. Because what's his name from? He played the barbarian.
Yeah,
Genghis Khan. He played Genghis Khan too.
Oh, in that show? Yeah. That was Marco Polo, the show with the worst main character ever that had like a really compelling story for everything else. If there's a show that I would ever think about and be like, oh yeah, there was that main character in it. I totally forgot about him.
Because everybody else was way more interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But didn't the actor who played Wong in the movie play Genghis Khan?
He's in a lot of stuff, but I'm bad with actor names.
So this is one of the games I'm most excited about playing when it comes back. So this is a size 2 thing. You can throw the size 2 things at the characters and like do damage to them and stuff. They're size 2
like
things.
What was that superhero game back in the day that I wanted to play that I never did? Oh, it doesn't. It's been dead for over a decade, so it doesn't matter.
And then I got my Loki with a little bit of water going on. See,
is that water? It's not magic?
Water magic. Because Loki. Sure. Whatever. I don't know. That doesn't look like water to you?
It looks like water. It looks like magic, too.
I don't know. Ice. Because he's really a frost giant, right? Loki is? Actually?
Yeah, what's that thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This looks like a very fun money to paint.
They are cool. I am still waiting on my back-ordered Deadpool with taco truck. In the taco truck, I'm going to make it.
What size is it?
I'm going to work really hard on this to make sure they're 28 millimeter.
I mean, what size is taco truck? Is it size 2 or size 3?
It's a size 3.
Ooh. So you have to be bigger to throw it.
Yeah, it's bigger and does more damage when it hits things. And but it has a little menu on the side of the taco truck. I really want to get good at making small lettering so I can put chimichangas on there.
Or just
Yeah. And Bob Agent of Hydra comes with that set too.
Well, if they're bigger than those cars, that should be doable.
Yeah. So, I think the menu is about as big as one of these windows. So
chimichangas.
I should be able to do that.
So the tip for doing really fine detail work is to
print it out on a transfer sheet.
That works. Use a decent sized brush. You don't want to go too small because the paint will dry really quick.
That makes sense.
You don't want it to be too thin, but you don't want your brush to be overloaded. So basically, like, load up your brush pretty nice, and then like wipe off some excess on some paper towel, and you get like 2 or 3 lines out of that, and then you reload it.
That's awful. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I only have to do like 6 lines of
text. How many words are chimichanga?
2
letters. I mean, in chimichanga.
That is a lot of letters.
Yeah, so that's going to be.
I might be doing the printing off thing.
Yeah, I don't know. If that's.
Yeah, you're right. I might be making that in Photoshop.
I don't know if you can figure out the water slides, though. I might have just been projecting there.
I could just use some of that stuff that gives the glossy look. And
you can do what I did in War Machine. So AJ painted the rule book in 3rd edition, and for Scott's model, and I did a popular meme from 2015 that I realized when I started the story is not something I can say out loud.
Okay, cool. So why is your buff Pikachu green now?
Why do you gotta be so hateful? Because I'm not done painting him, and I have to redo it. So this was printed off by a friend of mine with a 3D printer. Okay. And AJ gave me some advice, and it was really good. And then I green stuffed a whole bunch of battle damage because in my RPG, because I used this model. I was the only person that brought a model for a game on Friday in person, which was really upsetting, but also not surprising since I based my character off of this model. So I had it on hand.
Yeah.
But AJ gave me the advice to paint for Zenithal to get to yellow, to do green.
No, there's no green.
Purple.
No green.
Purple. Then on the bottom, so a base coat of purple, right?
Actually,
a base coat of purple.
Actually, I will walk you through how I do. I do Zenithal.
And you can watch it on the channel later on.
Yes.
So dark purple from the very bottom.
Do I do a whole base coat with that, or just from the bottom?
I mean, just from the bottom. You don't want it over the whole thing because you want your yellows to be really bright.
Well, that was the problem there. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're Zenithaling, you're not going all over. You're just going like, it's kind of hard because this base is sort of in the way, so you kind of have to do a little bit of that and sort of get it in there.
I probably saw it off the base.
That would be perfect. So I would only hit it, if the base wasn't there, only from, like, very directly below. That's darkest
But
purple.
I can go out, so I can hit it from very directly below, but like this way, so I could get the underside of the pecs. Like I'm not doing like.
Well, if you were looking at it dead on, your darkest purple, you would only hit it from, like,
Center mass, center base.
like the arms over here. You would do purple, right? Anything you would move around, but you wouldn't want to go. You wouldn't want to angle at all.
Straight on.
Straight on. Then I would mix purple and orange.
Oh, you mix it together, okay.
And then you go a little on, like all the way around. Maybe like a 15-degree angle.
Okay.
And then you do another mix of orange and purple. And this time you're still at, like, still from below, but like
25, 30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flat orange, 50-50, just like that. Orange and yellow, now you're going slightly up.
Okay.
Just yellow, straight on. So just like you did from the bottom,
Yep.
only doing the top, just like that.
Okay.
And then if you want to, you can come with either a mix of yellow and white or just white, depending on how specular you want to get. And just add in...
Wait, you use that word, specular?
Specular. All right. So you know how, like, when you're looking at, like, things that are brightly colored or very reflective, or you get reflections of, like, light sources off of them. So, or if it doesn't have to be reflective. It just happens when you're in bright light, you get sort of like these patches of very bright white almost
like
color.
a cicada picture.
What?
I'll show you later.
Okay.
I took one and I named the picture "Love Me, say that you love me."
So you wouldn't want to go for the final one. You wouldn't want to do the same thing where you're going head on. You would just pick out some really small, like, points of emphasis.
Lens flares.
It's kind of like adding lens flares. So like for here, you might hit like this, like the top of the fist, like each of these right here, and you might hit like the tip of the ears, right? And maybe see his face isn't like super defined.
No,
You might.
Yeah, his face.
Just that cute little button nose right there. Tiny bit.
What I would probably do is I would lay masking down. I would just use blue stuff because you don't have to be super precise, and I would just angle to just get a little bit of overspray right on that tip. That's what I would do.
How do I make the green stuff scars look? Do I just come back with a brush?
Yeah, you want to do that with the brush. Okay, so you also have these little bumps. What are the little bumps?
So those little bumps are from where I didn't get the supports taken off right before I cured it. And now I'm imagining that it's like buckshot that hit him.
Oh, so you want to make those sort of scarred too.
Yeah.
All right, so I think when you're pinning scar tissue, pretty much...
you saw sarcastic Mr. Know-It-All.
What?
I was singing Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right, when you're painting scar tissue, I think no matter what color flesh it is, you always start with a flesh tone. Because, which sounds weird, right?
Yes.
Because if you're painting blue flesh, like, why wouldn't the scars be blue? But they're not going to register as scars without, like, being flesh colored.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes
Do
sense.
you mean like
We're not going to...
what a muscle looks like when somebody's cut, no matter what their skin tone is?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Well, it just won't register in the brain either. Like, the human brain isn't like, I mean, maybe if you did it and you, like, looked at it and you're like, it makes sense that a Pikachu's circulatory system and their muscles is different color.
Right.
And that's but if that's not established, then...
We all bleed red.
Yeah.
Right. But
Pikachu does too.
I've seen it in the movies.
So what you do, again, is you start with, like, a darkish red color and you mix it with, like, a dark flesh tone. And that would be your base coat for all of these scars. And then, sorry, I'm looking at it a little closer.
And then maybe fill those that broken part on his neck. Yeah, whatever.
No, so then I would go ahead and wash that after that first layer to set your darks. I would go back with that color and pick out everything other than the deepest crevices.
Do you like
with this mix of the flesh tones and purple?
Flesh tones. Okay.
Flesh tone, like a dark flesh tone and a purple. And then you're just gonna sort of work on your palette, and you're gonna move through flesh tones. But because he is yellow, I would start working with some yellows into that flesh tone. I would have two flesh tones. I would have like a dark burgundy, purpley, sort of muddy red purple color. A muddy red purple color, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. With like a dark flesh tone, I would have like a lighter flesh tone, and then I would have some yellow and some white. That would be my palette I would work with. And so after base coating with that sort of a mix of that muddy purple reddy color and the dark flesh tone, I would start mixing in lighter flesh tones for that. And what you're gonna do, it's gonna be like maybe intimidating, but you're just gonna take a fine point brush and you're just gonna make a whole bunch of lines.
Sashing. What is that called? Sashing
or hatching?
Hatching.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you're gonna want to do it with like a 50% dilution.
So you have to do a lot more.
Right, but it's just gonna build up a lot of texture on that. Because
I textured this with your dental tool that you probably wanted back a couple years ago.
That's fine. I have plenty of sculpting tools. But like because none of those lines, those little fine lines, are gonna be fully opaque. They're all gonna be pretty transparent. As you build up, like that's why the lines don't have to be super accurate because no single line is going to be super visible, and they're just going to build up to create this sort of very textured and detailed looking scar thing for like really easy. And for these like gunshot holes, I guess.
Yeah, man. He just flexed them right out. Pick.
I thought they were like fungus growing out of his chest.
I would do the same thing with just like little lines, like all the way around, just like you did the rest of it.
All right. Well, that's this time next year. You can.
Before I did anything,
Yeah.
I would paint the eyes
So you don't lose them?
and then mask off.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to try and paint these eyes over like a gradient that I've established.
Fair. Yeah.
And so you can, for masking those off, I would just use masking fluid.
Okay.
It's you can get it at basically any art supply store or even like Walmart or Target or wherever. And it's just like, it's like a little liquid sort of like latex.
Yeah.
And it just like, bloop, plop it down. It'll be thin enough to conform to the circles. And then it's just masked for the rest of the time.
And masking fluid's the same stuff that's great for when you're doing like clear stuff on models too, to keep it clear, right?
Yeah.
Like when you get the Nolzers and stuff.
The one thing I will say about masking fluid is it's good to gloss coat before you use it.
Yeah.
To put down that layer of protection. I mean, you can use anything to mask for clear stuff, I think, but I use masking fluid when it's really detailed or I need fine control. For anything that needs like medium amounts of control, I like to use blue tack.
Okay.
And then anything else, I just use tape.
Oh, really?
Or,
really? Okay.
Or even a lot of times when you're airbrushing, I just have like an index card on my painting table, and I just sort of shield it with the index card.
So I do with a sprayer when I'm spraying.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like house painting.
Yeah. 1-to-1 scale terrain painting.
Okay. All right.
So if the last thing is for these dots, if you want to make them look sort of gnarly, it would be the same thing, except you would go through the same process for the scars, except you would just paint them in the dark color, then just add like a few dots. And you don't have to go through the whole progression, and you don't have to thin them as much because they're tiny, so you're not going to see them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a project.
That's how I would paint that.
So take this model that I've already started on and do what I like to get a model like mostly painted and then do a drastic change where I have to repaint the whole thing. So that's what we'll have to do.
I do not know how you strip resin 3D printed models.
I don't know to strip that.
Okay.
You know?
But that's what you told us not to do, right? You told us don't strip stuff.
Well, he said to make a catalog of work that you've done.
I do generally advise that, but like, I mean, sometimes if it's like it's a character you've been playing in a campaign for 2 years, so like you want to get it, so you know.
Well, I have 2 more of these too, and the file.
Oh, okay. Just start another one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't green stuff battle damage on the other one, which might not be. That was one of those midnight gaming things.
I think it would look sweet if you put some battle damage on it. I think you could do it again.
Yeah. Then I did my quick. If Chris Trevor, I did the dental molding concrete vault bits.
Oh, okay.
So I just make my own concrete, and then the dark walnut wash for some things. But this is what I'm really excited about. I am excited to learn how to use oil pigments to weather things, because man, is that just cheating. Like, look how good that is. Look how good that is.
Well, have you seen the kits that are specifically for like rusting out cars and stuff that are oil pigments?
Yeah, I have. I spent like $30 at Adepticon a few years ago.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of the chip with the sponge chipping.
Yeah, the sponge chipping looks nice.
Yeah.
I didn't like it that much. I forgot to repaint the front headlights.
It's harder to do at this scale, but to like really sell the chipping, it helps to add just like a
little bit of weight,
a few little highlights where like the light would essentially glint off the edge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that in some places, and then I was like, nope.
Yeah, I would not do it. I would use it sparingly in this case, just because it's too small to do it.
But I used an oil-based rust, and then I used my rust pigments, and then once I hit that with the hard coat, the old glossed and matte, and I taped the windows with my tape. Nice. But I'm excited to play Gaslands. That's from the Osprey Games Sprue kit that I got from a local player.
Nice.
Well, not the car. The car's from
the
Kroger's.
The add-ons to the car. Yeah.
It's so hard not to just run through Kroger's when I'm grocery shopping and be like,
I do it.
Yeah, I still do it. Treat myself.
One thing.
Go ahead.
One thing I really like to do for weathering is rust streaks that like
go from like that door handle.
Yeah, hold on. This guy has rust streaks. Yeah. So
it's so tedious.
Well, there's actually a really easy way to do it.
Okay.
So after you have like, because the weathering looks really nice, and is this varnished?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels varnished.
Okay.
So once you've gotten to that point, oh yeah, okay. Instead of using pigments, you can just get some really cheap oil paint, and you just put like a few little dots there, and then you just take some mineral spirits and you just drag them down.
See, I was trying to do that with that, but I was using a Q-tip, and I think I was just working too much of it off.
Yeah, you need to use. Well, it looks great if you you lay out like a dark brown and like an orange and a red and whatever, and you just like throw some dots on there. You're gonna wipe most of it off, and then but you rinse it off, and like if you're using like a well palette, you rinse it off and you just keep rinsing it off, all those colors.
What else do you brought some of your minis that make ours look terrible. What do you want to say about your minis?
I don't want to say anything. Ryan asked me to bring some. I haven't looked at them in a while, and so I had forgot how outrageous these bases are, and I really liked them. If you guys want to look at them,
I've seen these before. We talked about them on the last podcast.
Yeah,
you have
most of these. Yeah,
you have some tufts that you've airbrushed.
Yeah.
So did you airbrush them before or after putting them on? Before. Yeah. You just did a bunch at the same time.
And I just took like a whole strip of them and did them.
Is that slate? The big rocks? Is that slate?
That is. Here, let me see.
I like the rock on there. It's pretty cool.
Oh no, this is
It's not cork.
that's pine bark.
Pine bark.
Nice.
And then you crushed mica.
I didn't crush it. I bought it crushed.
Okay.
Well, that's less impressive.
Yeah.
Mica, and then there's another one that's
That's crushed opal.
yeah. It's so it looks like glitter, but it's not. It's not actually glitter.
It doesn't look.
It's way fancier than glitter.
It doesn't quite look like glitter either because it's. Well, it looks like maybe really fancy glitter.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like cheap glitter.
And then,
Hopefully, it's crushed gemstone. It wasn't that expensive. It was like $6 for like. You don't get very much, but you get plenty to do an army.
And then the screamers, flamers, whatever those are called, which are obnoxious to play against.
Screamers.
That's where AJ says, "Wow, the power of fluorescent highlight or fluorescent airbrushing."
But these have. One of the reasons you don't fluorescent airbrush is because the fluorescent colors aren't light fast, so they will fade over time. So these are considerably less bright than they used to be, but they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
No, they still look great. Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, I remember being much more razzled and dazzled by them.
I think I might some of the other ones probably are.
But even toned down, they look so good. And the Demon Prince model is just such an unfortunate model.
I love his goofy.
They're like, hey, look, you've got your Space Marine pack, and it's converted into
your flesh Space Marine pack, yeah.
I just
which is on like weird arm things for some reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Never been.
I know nothing about this lore. No, I know.
Well, when a good Space Marine gets even better, the Lords of Chaos blesses him with princehood.
Yeah, it's an exalted title of Demon Princehood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when a bad Space Marine's bad, they get to work for the Emperor of Mankind.
This model won me my first painting award.
What'd you get with that? No, that wasn't that one. Or was it?
It was. I got dreadfully with it.
Yeah.
I really want to go to the GW store and just bust out my like immaculate
so good.
Dreadfleet set and just play it in the store.
So AJ did some really nice battle damage for to showcase his skills with quick stuff foam.
I did that because I didn't want to buy a mini for the painting competition. And I had a broken dreadnought, so I was just like,
missing a leg.
He's missing a leg, now he's not.
That's a great use of it, yeah. Well, let's end up talking a little bit about Kickstarter stuff. You guys back anything anymore? Or?
You know, I back a lot of small box games, and I didn't realize this until after. But I had already played small box games before, because AJ used to back him.
Yeah, and I still do occasionally. I didn't end up doing it, but one of the most recent ones,
Dirge, Rust, or whatever. Or, I don't know. I backed one of the recent ones.
Yeah. A lot of his games have really good art, and that's usually why I back them. Yeah. It's like I like this.
They're small. They're small. Yeah. They're accessible.
They're not expensive, so
yeah, feel good. I'm waiting for Oath to show up.
You haven't got your copy yet?
No, there's the shipping stuff.
Oh,
I stopped reading my email. Well, sorry, I've read all of my emails. I don't retain anything.
I know there were a bunch of containers, and they were having it's slow going.
I would be very excited to play Oath.
No, then I'm very excited for that statement because I'll hold you to it.
AJ, if you could second one over, top right, there's a little yellow wallet. Grab that.
Oh yeah, above crypt.
Yeah, this is just
above what?
Above crypt. So,
right.
Go all the way up. All the way up. That is a game right there. Oh. So this is Tussie Mussie, which is an Elizabeth Hargrave game who
did Mariposa, the butterfly game by
Mariposas.
Yeah, I know.
And also did Wingspan, which you love, because nice. Ryan's totally into birds. But right now there's a Kickstarter for this one. This will be their third very successful Kickstarter this year by Buttonshy. Buttonshy does. This is what made me think of you guys talking about. They do all these.
I love micro games.
Wallet-sized games. I just got my Sprawlopolis and Agropolis. We need to play sometime soon because it's good. But they're doing an expansion for Tussie Mussie right now.
Yeah, I'm waiting to replay Wingspan because now that I'm officially a birder, I want to see if it hits different. You know, now that I'm like, yeah.
that Beth Sobel artwork that's in there. Yep, cool. So along with that, another one that was popular around the same time, Isle of Cats, has a big expansion that came out. Frank West from City of Games released a bunch of videos and a bunch of art. He's been busy. So there's the Don't Forget the Kittens expansion that has already funded. That'll be fun when it comes out because
It's not the same as Felinia, is it?
cats and polyominoes. I'm just going to keep moving on because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm also excited about Buru, which is a light midweight but very pretty Euro game. And then you were going to share some Henry Cavill?
I don't actually know
How do you say his name? I don't know. Because The Witcher...
I thought it was just Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
Yeah. Cavill. All right, so Henry Cavill, who is The Witcher in the TV show. When is season 2 coming? This December?
I don't know. I still watch season 1 yet.
Who knows?
Didn't we watch season 1? One of the first episodes of season 1 together?
We might have watched the first episode together, but then that was,
Anyways, who plays The Witcher in the TV show? They're rebooting
Highlander, and he's going to play, well, presumably Duncan MacLeod, or the Highlander, but I'm pretty excited for that because I feel like that guy's just like whatever nerd project that he liked growing up, he just gets now, and I mean, he doesn't do a bad job, so I just respect it. I'm just geeked. I mean, he does play Custodies in 40K, and that's pretty reprehensible, but he does have the money to actually buy them, so he doesn't even have to buy recasts.
I mean, Stoic Superman was terrible, but
I didn't watch Superman.
That wasn't his fault.
Yeah, and I actually haven't watched The Witcher, so I assume that he does good service to it, because he still works.
I mean, The Witcher is terrible as a TV show.
So
probably I don't know. I've never played the game.
Haven't we
offended a lot of people? Right?
Don't we know somebody who played the games and said that the show was magnificent?
Well, I mean, I really like the show. But
that's what
I really liked watching the show. It was great. I mean, it's a terrible show.
I should watch it.
So on that note,
I don't think that's a controversial opinion. I think pretty much everyone's like, this is a pretty great bad show.
That's good.
That's probably close to true. I think there are other reasons people liked watching that show. So The Witcher Old World is getting some really
who's putting that out?
Crappy reviews. I don't know who's putting it out.
Who's got the IP game? Is it the guys
okay,
who
I'm gonna have to look now.
Dreadball, not Dreadball. What was that game? Goldball? Was it
the Mars Attacks guys.
Steamforged? No,
so it is.
What are you?
Is it Steamforged?
As of this moment, as we talk right now, it has funded $2.1 million over 300. It is by Go On Board, which I have no idea who that is.
I'm not mad at you guys. Good job. You get the IP, you make the game, do some plastic molded minis.
But it's a Polish company, so that makes sense because Witcher's out of Poland, right? Originally.
Man, I wonder if the author has rights to this.
I thought it was okay.
I'm pretty sure
the author lost he gave the rights up to the video game for nothing because he was like, you guys are not going to be successful.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I mean,
but I wonder if they're using the video game rights or the book rights.
That's a good question.
Because when it comes to different rights, I still need to contact David Brin, the author of The Postman, to get the rights to the book.
I mean, that's a sweet looking
instead of. Yeah, but it's going to be it's a mini. It's a board game mini, so it looks sweet, but you're just going to put them back in the box. Listeners, I will say that if I had
people who are going to paint and then they're going to line their shelf with them because it's going to be their favorite game.
No one's going to do that.
I know people that do do that with games.
They paint their minis.
They paint them, and then they keep them out.
I do. I did paint Breadfleet.
Yeah,
Breadfleet.
Yeah, but that's different. It's like a GW game. That has beautiful minis.
This is seriously part of the discussion on. I don't know if it was Dice Tower or Board Game Revolution or one of them today, but the person was like, the game mechanics look awful, but The Witcher. The game mechanics are this, but The Witcher. They were having this internal debate where they were like, I don't really want to play this game at all, but I'm going to buy it and I'm going to pay everything in it and I'm going to play it occasionally with my buddies because.
I mean, I'm still waiting for somebody to paint Super Dungeon Explorer. So I mean, there's so many minis in these games.
Yeah, I don't understand how
And the quality.
How do you have like, I don't understand, like, I guess I'm coming at it from like somebody who like will spend like a long time painting like every mini.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't for me to like undertake painting a board game, which I've done twice.
Yep.
What's the other one?
It was also like the sort of minis game. I painted it for I painted the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
Yeah.
But it's a massive undertaking, and like I don't see like how it's. I understand that people do it, but it seems unfeasible to me to like.
No, I won't yuck anybody's yum. If they do it, they do it. But there's just like so many games that are coming out, especially that have this many. Actually, I don't know if it has a lot of minis. I just assume that it does.
To get to this Manticore Witcher mini, like you have to, I can't even tell, but you have to pledge like several $100s anyway. So like you already have the money investment, right? You already have the money investment for the mini. So maybe you're like,
but like, yeah.
So I'm going to give the time investment.
I mean, it's just like I have to work so much to make $700 that it's just like I can't do it. That's why I buy small games that I don't have to paint.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to play those either.
So anyways, it's funded. It's going to happen. We're not even going to get into this. Maybe that'll be an episode for season 3. The sustainability argument, right? Like,
well, it's just
I love wooden meeples and stuff, but we'll talk about that later. Okay.
James Ernst had it right in the 90s before.
Yeah.
He just gave you rules and the things and cards, and then everything else. He was like, "You guys own some dice and
stuff.
Go take some pawns and checker pieces." And then James Ernst was like, "Whoa, Kickstarter!"
Okay.
I love you, James Ernst.
And then the Paperback Adventures, which is a novel solo word game, which people are raving at.
Solo word game.
Yeah, people are raving about this. It's funded at 825% right now. It's still going on.
What was the amount that they needed to fund though? Like 825% is huge, but if it's like
it's probably only
like a $2,000 funding
right?
goal. What's that, like 16?
Paperback Adventures. Let's see what they're at. All right.
I was looking it up beforehand. I mean, that sounds. I don't know. It's like I don't hate on solos as much as I used to.
No. They needed 30,000. They're at almost 250. So I mean, there must be something going on there. I'm gonna give it more of a look, but just from that incredibly basic description, it doesn't sound interesting to me. Like, board games aren't my thing unless somebody really wants to play it. But that is funded.
I mean, if it could help me with my vocabulary, that would be specular.
Nice.
That's a terrible joke.
Good one.
Let's end on this for end of season 2 with bad puns.